What's up, everybody? Krystal and Kyle coming at you randomly from a car.
Mall parking lot.
Which is fun.
I'm buying Kyle some shirts, so that's an often request that we get. So there you go.
What, people say I need to wear more shirts?
No, people say I should intervene in your fashion sense.
Stop fronting like I'm not fly as hell with my Under Armour golf shirt on right now, bro.
That is a nice shirt. I like
it. It is a nice shirt. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this shirt. People troll me and shit about my style.
Yeah.
But low key, everybody's like, yeah, he looks kind of good. That's fine. They just like cracking on me though. Like people like fucking with me.
True, because you take it well. You know, they don't feel like your feelings are gonna get hurt, even
Yeah,
though they
I
do.
don't give a fuck. Nah, my feelings. I don't have feelings. That's bullshit.
Okay, fake news.
Yeah, totally fake news. Go ahead, rip on this shirt down below, and then I'll tell you have horrendous fashion choices. Because if you don't like this shirt, something's wrong with you, dog. It's true.
Right.
Something's wrong with you. I'm rocking the dad bod, stepdad energy to the max right now. I'm chilling. Got the shades. I have gotten compliments on the shades.
Well, those are nice.
These are nice
those
shades.
Those are undeniable.
Yeah. These are nice shades.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're a little bit divisive, like polarizing. I feel like
I've only seen positive stuff. I mean, I don't see much, but everything I've seen was like, "Yo, I feel those shades, bro." So,
I like them. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So. There you go.
I got my other R&B ones. Those I feel like are more divisive. The one where I'm a 2002 R&B
Yeah,
song.
I'm more a fan of these. I like these more.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I like the way it looks through those better. It's like if I'm playing golf, I like to wear the ones that it looks... These
also slip off your face a little more,
Yeah,
right?
I can't even hit any golf shots with this on, or can't do any. Like when I was playing soccer yesterday, I had to take these off because they were just like slipping off my face. But anyway. All right, so anyway, guys, we are here to talk about the Washington Post released a list of Republican power rankings for 2024. And shout out to the guys over at Chapo Trap House because they covered it. And then I went and took a look at the article. And now Krystal and I are going to talk about it. Because the list, by and large, is just delusional.
Yes.
It's just like,
this is so much what
the media wants. The media wants this, but like... You ain't gonna get this shit.
There's so much
no way.
Beltway brain and elite wish casting here that it's pretty amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So, I don't know if you want to start with the top 10 or the honorable mentions, or what do you want to do?
Let's start with the honorable mentions, actually. So...
Okay. So these didn't make the list of the top 10, but they're people who are like, oh, but they have a chance, just so you know.
Do you want me to read through them all at once?
No. Well, I'll just interject whenever I have something to say.
All right. So first up, we've got Marco Rubio. Lil Marco.
That is...
I mean, we saw how this went already.
I know.
He's like just totally humiliated on the debate stage by both Donald Trump and Chris Christie.
I want to be fair to him, though. Towards the end of his race, when he realized, like, fuck, I got no chance. And I've been thoroughly embarrassed.
I don't remember that at all. All I remember is Chris Christie completely humiliating him and then him just, like, being done.
There were, I want to say, 2 debates, but it may have been 1, when Marco realized, I ain't winning this shit. And he was staring into the abyss, and he was miserable and depressed. And he went out there, and he was like, I'm just going to fucking... kamikaze myself right now. And every time Trump would come at him, he would go back at Trump. And be like, you're a fucking ridiculous person. And he was right about that.
I actually thought that Steve Bannon had a good comment about Marco Rubio. He was like, something about him being like blow-dried with a briefcase when he was 14 years old at the RNC, imagining himself as president. I was like, damn, that really does nail him.
That is true.
Yeah.
But Marco, no chance. He's
still imagining it. It's never going to happen.
He's sad.
Okay.
Some in the establishment want it to happen, but it's not. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, I think he's going to win a Senate. There is some polling that shows Val Demings beating him for Senate right now. Imagine if that happened.
I mean, if Chris took out DeSantis, that'd be like...
Yeah. I think Demings has a better shot at taking out Rubio. But I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, Josh Hawley, Mr. Insurrection fist bump himself.
But here's his problem. Like, you can't take this lane as like, I'm a hardcore populist Republican, but then also look like the son of Thurston Howell III.
Yeah, I mean, he gets
preppy
these, like,
school-ass vibes.
Clearly very expensive, like, finely tailored, too tight-fitting suits.
And his hair's perfect all the time.
Yeah,
like,
and the way he talks and all of it, none of it works.
And it's all an act. It's all super insincere.
Yes.
You know? Like, he's really not populist at all. The only thing he ever did that was populist was say, like, yeah, let's do $2,000 checks. And that was when it was a virtual guarantee that we weren't going to get them.
He
so
did
there was,
that.
like, no
actual... It was right after that he started trying to do this, like, high-minded version of Stop the Steal, which was silly and ridiculous. I mean, I really do think he kind of made his bet on January 6th as...
Yeah, and also, look, a lot of this
where
list...
his priorities lie.
And it's interesting. I'll be interested to hear if you agree with this. A lot of this list, though, also comes down to vibes. Like, what vibe are you giving off, and is that going to land with this Republican base, which has gotten more and more extreme over time?
Yeah.
And, like, the vibes of Josh Hawley, like, listen, dog, in 1984, 1987, maybe you had a chance. But in today's day and age, nah.
Yeah. Well, he's tried to... Listen, we're going to get to, Trump and DeSantis at the top of the list, but my basic analysis of all of these people is that they're all sort of pale imitations of Trump, trying to copy his style and his aesthetic, and none of them pulling it off well. So sort of like the way that Pete and Cory Booker and Beto all copied Obama's, like, speech patterns and tried to style themselves after him, even their, like, mannerisms and stuff. I mean, you see that with you talk about with DeSantis and his hand gestures and all.
He's like, all in on that
shit.
It's
so blatant that they're just trying to copy Trump, and you're never going to beat the original if you're just the carbon copy. Okay, next up, Ben Sasse. I really don't even have anything to say about him because I couldn't tell you anything other than he exists.
Ben Sasse is dollar store Josh Hawley.
Okay.
That's what he is.
Got it. So not even as good as Josh Hawley.
And he even has lower name recognition than Hawley, and Hawley's name recognition is about 1%.
Tom Cotton.
That long-necked giraffe-ass bitch. The guy has literally negative charisma. He has negative charisma. He makes Mitch McConnell seem like Nina Turner.
He also has very, like, authoritarian instincts.
Yes, his platform is going to be like, I like...
police state.
Dictatorships.
Let's go.
Yes.
You have Cheney here. I assume that's Liz Cheney?
Yeah, for the Washington Post list, it's Liz Cheney. They have Liz Cheney in there, which is hilarious. If she does run as a Republican, it would just be literally to try to torpedo Trump, and that is a long shot to work. So.
Yeah, I'm going to give Washington Post some credit here for not putting her on the main list, because they really wanted to.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to put her at, like, number 2,
but
number 3.
Even they can't.
Nah, they
can't justify it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu.
Listen, the only Sununu I remember, I think, is that Sununu's dad. Yeah. That guy was like, he looked like Jabba the Hutt, and he was vicious.
Well, this was the guy, they really wanted him to run for Senate against, is it Maggie Hassan who's up? And he was like, nah, I'm good.
The thing I remember about this guy's dad is that he was infamous for, like, he didn't want to even give, what's it called, naloxone, the stuff that reverses the opioid overdoses. He was like, as a matter of principle, we shouldn't be giving this out. And he's like, so you just want to let people overdose? And he's like, yeah.
I don't really know that much about this guy's
nobody knows anything
ideology. I assume he's hard right like they all are. But I do think he's made some noises, like, kind of separating himself from the Trumpiest elements of the party, which you kind of have to do in New Hampshire, I guess. So anyway, in terms, that would just, like, crush him in terms of his Republican primary prospects. Here's another fan favorite, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Okay. Literally, Asa Hutchinson's family doesn't even know who Asa Hutchinson is. You said him, in my head, I'm trying to picture him. I think he's sort of like a mix between Lincoln Chafee looking and, there's one other who I'm blanking on, but, like, I can't even, in my mind's eye, I can't even really picture him.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
South Dakota Governor Christie Noem.
Okay, so now this is a point that the Chapo guys made, and I think it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Potential VP choice. Because she's a woman, number one, and because she's hot.
I could see that. I mean, I actually thought she was going to have more of a chance of pulling into the kind of, like, Ron DeSantis lane of being the main Trump alternative. But she also, not that they really care about this, there's a pretty significant scandal involving her in South Dakota right now where she intervened in, like, her daughter's real estate licensing or something crazy like that.
Okay.
She used her office to get her daughter a job, basically.
She also slept with one of the campaign managers for Trump, right? Wasn't this her? Corey Lewandowski. Didn't she have an affair with Corey Lewandowski?
I don't know about that.
Well, we can't look it up now because we got one phone here and one phone there.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that happened. If it wasn't Christie Noem, it was somebody else.
But she loves to lean into the... I mean, she's kind of like a Sarah Palin vibe, you know? She loves to lean into, like, I'm folksy and I have my, like, shotgun and...
Okay, number one, I don't think she's as dumb as Sarah Palin, but number two, I don't think she has as much charisma or natural stage presence as Sarah Palin.
She also leaned hard... I agree with that. She also leaned hard into the, like, anti-lockdown stuff. That's kind of when her star was the highest with the GOP, is she, you know, kept South Dakota open and whatever.
Oh, and she was at the height of the COVID surge where people were dying everywhere.
Yeah.
She's like, everything's open, bro.
Yeah, so I also feel like, you know, that was kind of her moment with the GOP base and that issue fading out of prominence. She's been less visible for them.
Okay.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is like a kind of anti-Trump guy.
Oh my God. Homeboy has less than no chance. I mean, are you kidding me?
This would be another like Liz Cheney type of attempt.
Worse than... Okay, what does he have going for him? Literally nothing. He's not charismatic. He's not good looking. The vibes are in the basement. In terms of like policy agenda, yeah, you're trying to separate yourself from Trump and you're trying to be like, I'm like a moderate Republican, but like the party doesn't want you.
Right.
There's nothing. There's nobody. I mean, this is some shit. He would do worse than John Kasich did in 2016. You know what I'm saying?
This is Washington Post
yes, wish casting
fanfic.
It's wish casting, exactly.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Okay, I had to bite my tongue there from saying something really fucked up. I can't say it. It's too wrong, even for me.
Okay.
It's way too wrong.
All right.
Yeah. Nah. I mean, he's trying to be on some next, like, oh, I'll be the next FDR shit. Like, I'm in a wheelchair too, bro. Can I save the country?
I mean,
you can't, man.
He's just very, well, okay. So he's got a number of political liabilities that have cropped up. Number one, the fact that the Texas power grid still fucked. Number two, the fact that, the Uvalde massacre, he's in a position to actually hold some people accountable, and he's just, like, covered up for them and blocked any sort of transparency and accountability as well. So I actually think those things are legitimate issues for him.
And also, imagine the extremism of Trump without the charisma. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's Greg Abbott. You know? Like, Texas governors are, like... You may as well be running on a platform that was written by Attila the Hun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyway, I don't see that one happening. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Come on, bro.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I actually think Chris Christie has a good bit of political talent, but at this point, he's criticized Trump. I mean, you're either on the right side of that issue with the Republican base or you're not. He's another one of these. The whole reason he got out-alphaed by Trump in the GOP primary last time around. He's another one of these that you already know how this goes, and it didn't go well for him. So
he's a media guy now too. He's been, doesn't he, like, snuggle up to CNN and MSNBC?
That's why he's on this list. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but like, he's got no more there's no political chops anymore within the GOP.
No, the Republican base hates him now.
Look, there was a time, and I've made this point a bunch in the past. Like, there was a time, Chris Christie, when he ran the first time he ran, it was like he reeled himself in. He allowed his staffers to, like, and whoever was his consultants to say, like, look, you can't be as aggressive as you are in New Jersey. You can't, be angry and yell at voters and shit like that.
You think that's what happened?
Definitely. He didn't unleash himself until the very end when he had no chance anymore.
I read it more as, his persona was always the, like, brash bully. And it was just like when you put him on stage with Trump was so much more of that.
No,
I didn't read it as Christie was holding back. I read it as just like Trump is like that times 100,
but there was
doesn't come through.
Zero Chris Christie trademark aggression at the beginning of the run. The only time he allowed himself to unleash it was when he made a secret deal with Trump, and Christie acted as Trump's kamikaze, where he went after Rubio and he went after everybody else.
That was an incredible moment.
And, well, it was incredible, but if that Chris Christie was the Chris Christie was there the entire time, he wouldn't have won, but he would have got 15% of the vote, something like that, and he didn't get any of it because he reeled himself in.
Yeah. Okay, so those were the honorable mentions. Now we're on to the real contenders.
Yeah, these are the ones with the real shot.
These are the ones who are the real deal. All right, number 10, the fail son himself, Donald Trump Jr.
All right, now I'm going to say something controversial. There's going to come a day where he's going to run and he's going to get a decent chunk of the vote. That time is not now. I want to be clear. That time is not now.
Yeah.
Because he is the cheap knockoff version of his dad.
Right.
And he's faking it, and he's zonked out of his mind 24/7, high as fuck on cocaine.
The base really likes this guy, though. And
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying in the future,
right,
he's got a shot at it.
So I watched that documentary, Unprecedented, that had all the like January 6th footage that got subpoenaed by the January 6th committee and also by the Georgia prosecutors who are looking into all this stuff. I watched that documentary, and they spent a lot of time with the Trump kids, Don Jr. and Ivanka in particular, and basically on the Stop the Steal stuff. They sort of portrayed it as like there's always been this competition between the kids for dad's affection, and Ivanka has always been the favorite. But when the Stop the Steal stuff happened, she wasn't willing to go all the way in. And Don Jr. was 100% willing to go all the way in. I mean, at times he would go even further than Dad would go.
And now my daddy loves me, folks. Now my daddy
pretty much
can't get enough of me. Watches my Instagram lives. Watches all my live streams.
Pretty
it's
much.
Really incredible.
It's not sad. It's really sad.
He's so sad. I have zero respect for him. He's literally just copying Daddy like he's a lost little boy.
But I agree with you that the base actually does really like this guy. He has the vibe and aesthetic and whatever thing that they like. I mean, he's not Dad, but they'll take it over almost all of the people whose names we're about to read.
What's amazing is he also has like the same IQ as his dad.
So in a way, he is underrated. Definitely, in terms of
for the future, though, not for now. He's not gonna do it now. There's no way.
Well, if Daddy didn't run, then what?
Then DeSantis beats him. For sure.
Maybe.
No, for sure.
I give it 50-50.
No way.
I give it 50-50.
No, that's 75%
DeSantis is just not willing to be as nasty as this guy is.
But he's also a fucking goofball.
So
like, at least DeSantis comes across as a real politician. This motherfucker's a goofball.
Yeah, but coming off as
like,
a real
bro,
politician
I get it.
Not necessarily
I get it.
thing.
You do coke and you ramble in live streams. Understood. And I bet your girlfriend is sleeping with your dad. Understood. Like, but you're not... He's in over his head. OD.
I don't know. I think if you had him versus DeSantis, I think it'd be tough. Especially because he'd have, he'd have Donald's endorsement.
Somebody who is so online that they respond to a tweet from me... Which is what Donald Trump Jr. did, does not have the instincts to navigate a complex thing.
The base of the Republican Party. I mean...
And DeSantis is the heir apparent, not this loser who, I grant you, in 8 years or 12 years or whatever, yes, then you have a shot.
If Daddy endorses him and you had Donald Trump Jr.
If Daddy doesn't run, Daddy's dead. If Daddy doesn't run, Daddy's dead.
Not necessarily.
Yes, of course. Or he's in jail. He's dead or he's in jail.
But in a world where Daddy, for whatever reason, decides not to run, and he endorses Don Jr., and it's basically the Trumps versus DeSantis, I still give the edge to the Trumps.
Okay, who we got next?
Mike Pompeo. This is peak Beltway wish casting with this guy.
As the Chapo Trap House guy said, he's like, who is his base? Like, who's he running for? A bunch of, like, DC think tank neocons? Like, they're the only people who would be excited about him.
Or even know who he is.
Right, exactly.
All right.
And, again, you want to talk about negative charisma. Like, he has the vibe of a creepy uncle you want to keep away from the kids. You know what I'm saying?
It's astonishing to me the self-confidence that these people have.
I know, and Pompeo said he wants to run no matter what. I think he said he wants to run even if Trump runs.
Okay.
Which is like, all right, dog, go ahead, you do you. Let me know how that goes.
Rick Scott.
Oh my God. Again.
Who got caught this week while he was criticizing Biden for being on vacation in Delaware. He was sending that tweet out from the deck of a super yacht in Italy. You cannot make it up. This dude is in charge of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, so he's supposed to be the guy who's fundraising and ensuring that Republicans take the Senate majority. Their whole prospects are falling apart right now, and he's on a super yacht in Italy.
And he is the largest defrauder of Medicare in Medicare history.
There is that too, yes.
He's a colossal criminal. The other thing is, he's the only idiot on the Republican side who is like, bro, we got to run on an agenda. Everybody loves our ideas, so let's make a whole policy platform. And McConnell was behind the scenes like, you fucking idiot. The Democrats are self-immolating right now. Let them self-destruct, and we don't even have to say shit other than we're not them and we're going to win. Yeah. And Rick Scott was like, no, I'm going to release a platform. He releases a platform. It's the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life. First of all, a bunch of the planks aren't even policy shit. It says stuff like, we stand for the flag. Yeah. Oh, congratulations, wow. You little virtue signaling bitch. But my favorite plank that was in there was, everybody needs to have skin in the game, so we're going to effectively raise taxes on the bottom 50% of Americans, because about 50% of people don't pay federal taxes because they have no fucking money, they can't afford it. So he's like, we got to raise taxes on those people. So he said that, and that was something that, to the media's credit and the Democrats' credit, they latched onto it, and they were like, look at this. I thought you guys were the party of tax cuts. You want to raise tax on the poorest people in the country?
They picked up on that, and also he wanted to sunset Medicare and Social Security.
Right, so like get rid of it, basically, because they're not going to re-up it. Yeah. But anyway, what ended up happening is he got so much shit for that when nobody was looking, he went back to his platform and removed that plank that I just told you about, the one about the taxes. And I know because I was going to pull it up in a new video, and I went to go look, and I was like, oh my God, he removed it. Wow. And now it's replaced with something that says something along the lines of like, President Biden lied and said this plank is to raise taxes. It is not. It's like, all right, bro, come on. Get it together.
All right, so I said a minute ago Mike Pompeo was peak Beltway wish casting, but I think the next one might be Nikki Haley.
Yeah, Nikki Haley. She hasn't said 3 words publicly.
They have been trying to make Nikki Haley happen for years. And have you ever watched her speak?
Yes.
The most, like, whatever is the opposite of charisma, I mean, it is just totally uninspired, deadpan. Immediately, the first word out of her mouth, you're like, I already lost you.
You know what she reminds me of? When the media was trying to make Tim Pawlenty a thing.
Yes.
It was like in 2012
T-Paw.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, Pawlenty, oh yeah, he's got a chance moving forward.
Yeah.
And then it was just like literally nothing happened.
No. Ted Cruz.
Oh my God,
lovable guy.
He honestly, of everybody on the list, and this is a hard bar to clear, he is the saddest human being on that entire list. He's one of these guys.
Yeah.
Where's the wind going? Here's a guy who went from like not even endorsing Trump at the 2016 Republican convention to like gargling Trump's ball sack on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, Trump called his wife ugly.
Said his dad killed JFK.
And he was like, that's all right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And then eventually he was fucking phone banking for Trump to make up for the fact that he didn't endorse him at the convention. And then the donors said, hey, bitch, you remember who you work for? And then he's like, okay. And he went and he phone banked for Trump. Amazing. He's so sad. And now he's got a podcast that nobody listens to where he contradicts himself every 8 seconds.
He has a podcast.
Oh, it's so bad. And he's with the
Josh Hawley has a podcast.
He's with the Daily Wire D-stringer too, Michael Knowles.
Yeah, it's right.
Michael Knowles and Ted Cruz on the same podcast. There's not a single authentic thing that has ever been said on that podcast. Everything is insincere, fucking posturing, right-wing virtue signaling. There's literally nothing there for him. He's so slimy, he's so smarmy, but I'm about to drop a bomb in the conversation. At some point, he might actually have a shot to win the Republican primary. It all depends on Trump.
You just instinctively hate that guy. Like, I've never seen someone whose face so perfectly matches their person.
I agree, soul. But who came in second in 2016?
Yeah, but I mean,
who came in second? That's a lot of fucking votes, baby. That's a lot of votes.
I don't know.
That's a lot of votes.
I don't see it.
I don't see it. I don't see it either, but I'm saying he's more than what we think. Yeah,
but
we have our own view of him in normie world.
Yeah, but I feel like his moment was then, because he was very much like the Tea Party guy, and he sort of rode that like austerity, like, you know, backlash, Obama backlash thing. That was the peak. That was the peak for him.
Let me give myself credit here for something real quick, because I remember a long time ago, we were doing election coverage. This was during the primary season, and I was on the Young Turks, and Cenk was insistent that Ted Cruz is real and could beat Trump. And I was insistent, there is no chance this guy's going to beat Trump. Mm-hmm. And I was definitely right about that. Yes. But what I will say is I can see him in the future at some point, I don't know when, he can, run again to get a second place or a third place. Outside chance he might be able to get a nomination, but
I don't see it. All right, Glenn Youngkin. My own governor.
Guys, again, as the Chapo guy said, Glenn Blumpkin. That's what he is.
It's like, Okay, so Republicans got very excited that he was able to win in Virginia, and he adopted this sort of like third way approach to Trump where he didn't like fully embrace him.
It did take skill. It did take political skill.
But it's a totally different deal when you're actually having to run in a Republican primary. Because here's the other thing no one ever mentions about this is Youngkin did not run in a primary in Virginia. In this state, there are weird election laws that allow the party to use any number of processes to choose their nominee. They decided to have a convention where basically Republican Party elites are like, this is the guy that we want. Yeah. If not for that, if he had to run in a normal primary, I don't even think he could have gotten the nomination in this state, let alone in a national primary where you're going to have some Trump-backed somebody that you're up against. So this is ridiculous.
You'd have some Mastriano type character who would have won.
More Beltway brain.
Yeah, there's no way he would win. No, it's just not happening. In terms of how he ran his campaign and how he ended up winning in Virginia, he did it, but this is his peak. He ain't going anywhere from here but down. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and in Virginia, you can only run for governor once, like they're term limited after one time. So I don't even know what his next political move will be. Tim Scott.
Another potential VP pick. I think the Republicans are smart enough at this point to pick either a woman or a black person to be like, hey, you guys say we're fucking fascists and Nazis, but look at what we got here. Yeah, where's the black guy on your ticket, bitch? I don't see a black guy on your ticket.
The hollow liberal identity politics leaves the Democrats wide open for that.
Wide open. Yeah, and I think they're smart. I think they're smart enough to do that. I think they're smart enough to do that.
Mike Pence. I think you and I have a little bit of a different view of Mike Pence because I really do feel like the fact that he didn't do what Trump wanted him to do on January 6th has made him like dead to most of the GOP base, and I don't think it's recoverable.
So, yeah, we do have a slightly different view. It's not as far apart as you think. In the same way that Liz Cheney is trying to rep this brand of like, I'm GOP classic, she's not, because she spends 90% of her time talking about how January 6th was terrible and it was an insurrection and Trump is bad. And when you focus on that much, what ends up happening is people on the Democratic side flock to you. The resistance liberals flock to you, and we've seen that in the numbers, right?
Yeah.
I actually think Mike Pence is GOP classic brand. Now, I agree with you that the Trump brand is way above and beyond GOP classic brand now. Mm-hmm. But what I do think is there is a place for Mike Pence where there is a 12% chunk, 15% chunk of the Republican base that's like that guy. Yeah. But I also agree with you that it ain't enough to fucking win a Republican primary.
And also, here's the other thing: is like he's not charismatic either. He's like nothing to offer there. I mean, his whole lane was being the ally of the evangelicals. Correct. The whole reason he was picked by Trump is because of of sort of assuaging the evangelical base and making the religious right comfortable with Trump. But that's his only value. He doesn't have enough to stand alone, even if he hadn't crossed Trump in such a notable way.
So now we get to a big
All right, this is so stupid to me.
According to the Washington Post.
This is so stupid.
Number 2 on the list is
Donald Trump. So stupid.
Come on,
number 1 is Ron DeSantis.
Me and you had a similar debate recently.
Ridiculous.
Me and you had a similar debate recently.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm more down on Trump, and I still put him at 60%, maybe even 70% to win the nomination. For them to put Trump number 2 is delusional.
Completely delusional.
There's not a single reason to believe that.
Did you see the I know you don't say it, the Ron DeSantis, the Top Gov ad, which was like one of the worst things I've ever watched. To me, it just really demonstrated how this guy is just trying to be Trump. And you're never gonna beat the real thing. Like, he has shape-shifted so much. He's trying to put on this tough guy persona that just doesn't work whatsoever. He really is not actually very, at all charismatic person. And ultimately,
I have some disagreements.
Trump has made the Republican Party all about the issue of Donald Trump. Like, how do you feel about Trump? There's no policy issue or anything else that matters outside of where do you stand on the issue of Donald Trump. No one is going to be able to go up against that. The minute that you're oppositional to him, you're done. You're dead to a majority of the GOP base, so I don't see it.
I do think he has relative charisma compared to almost everybody else on that list, minus Trump. Okay? So in terms of charisma, we do have a disagreement. I think he's more charismatic than you think he is. In terms of that ad, I was laughing at it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was incredibly cringe and cheesy.
Terrible.
But I also made the point that there's a certain segment of the base that's going to eat that shit up. All the clips of him owning the fake news media in there.
Even Fox News was uncomfortable with it. Like, did you see the clips of, like, Fox and Friends being like,
don't care. I don't care. There's going to be some people who watch that who are like, yeah, look at him owning the Fox, the fake news media.
But are they going to like that more than, like, Trump
Well,
doing
no, but that's
thing?
our agreement. That's our agreement, which is why we agree it's absurd that they've got Trump number 2. But I still think there is a little bit of an underestimation of DeSantis. The other thing about DeSantis is
I think there might be an overestimation.
No, he's so good at the culture war. He's mastered the art of the culture war, and such a large chunk of the country has culture war brain rot. And he can figure out exactly what's popping on right-wing media and feed into that and make all of them suck him off in the matter of a day. Yeah. Like, he knows how to play that game well. That's something that you don't see from... Like, Ted Cruz is trying to do that, and he can't do it well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely think he is the second most likely. Like, ultimately, you know, honestly, the rest of this list is sort of ridiculous unless Trump doesn't run, in which case I sort of agree with you that probably the next one you would put in there is Donald Trump Jr. But I still I don't see him matching up against Trump whatsoever because the whole party is about Trump. So how do you upend that?
We don't need to have the same debate we had before.
Yeah.
All I'll say is I lean towards your view, but there's a certain chunk of my mind that says just be agnostic and be humble. We don't know what's going to happen. Trump could end up in jail. Any of a number of things can happen that sort of change the landscape. In the same way that we're watching with Biden right now, we were convinced he sucks and he's going to get absolutely obliterated and the Dems are going to get wiped out in the midterms. And all of a sudden the political reality changed and now the conventional wisdom is correct. And that is, maybe the Democrats will hold on to the Senate. You know what I'm saying? So
DeSantis does best, according to the polling, with college-educated Republicans. And I think that's why, I mean, you see like the Beltway media, Washington Post, overestimating what his chances are.
Well, they want that. Yeah. They want DeSantis because they want to feel like, okay, like David Frum said. David Frum was like, DeSantis is like Trump minus the crazy. And that's how the mainstream media feels. Like, yeah, he's like Trump, but if he loses, he'll walk away. They're convinced of that. I'm not as convinced of that, right? But that's so this all comes back to the thing of like, the Republicans must snap back to their senses in some way, right? And it's like, maybe not. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll actually get crazier as time goes by.
That's the thing is like that's definitely not the trajectory they're on.
Correct. The trajectory is
they're on the trajectory of like almost electing Laura Loomer.
Right.
That's the trajectory that they're on. So
Trump at number 1. Trump has to be at number 1. I mean, he's up in every single poll. He still dominates the news cycle. There's no doubt he's number 1. It's kind of goofy they put DeSantis. But anyway, as again the guys on Chapo said, this whole list was just delusion.
It reminds me, remember at the beginning of the Democratic primary, Krystal put out his power rankings over at CNN for what the Democrats, I think number 1
Bernie
was
at like 6 or 7
Kamala,
or some shit.
Bernie was down at like 7, 8, whatever. Ridiculous. I don't even think they had Biden very high, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
No, I don't think they did.
Beto was hot.
They had like Klobuchar up there or something like that.
Probably like Kirsten Gillibrand was in there or something. God. I don't remember. I just remember Kamala,
Stop hitting the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Kamala, I'm pretty sure was number 1. That's all.
Okay.
And then my brain shut off.
Yeah, none of it was good. Anyway, all right, there's your breakdown, guys. This is way too long of a video. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you.